Over the last 50 years, ITV has beamed its regional presenters into our living rooms. Angela Rippon, a young Jan Leeming, David Rogers,
Sylvester Stallone, eat your heart out.
How are you, David?
and his personal trainer, Judy Spires.
Now look, would you like to come and see my dumbbells?
But now cold economic realities are interfering with that familiar world.
From this end of the telescope, the regional services look hugely expensive.
I think the game plan is to get out of it as definitely and as quickly as they possibly can.
If we can't find another funding model, potentially it's a bleak future for regional services.
November last year, the region's television makers get together for their annual awards dinner. Usually the event is a noisy knees-up. But tonight, it feels more like a wake.
That story and the way it was done to commend it, so it went to the Exeter bomb.
Now, ITV Westcountry have won 2 major news awards this evening, but for many of the staff, the party is well and truly over. Imagine collecting an award when you've just been made redundant.
The reason why I'm crying is because I lost my job this week.
It was Westcountry's coverage of the Exeter bombing last summer which won that award. Richard Lawrence was one of the first reporters on the scene.
Well, it's an hour and a half since the incident, and as you can see, the police are taking no chances. They've decided instead to evacuate the entire city centre.
Thanks very much.
But 6 months later, Richard, along with more than 60 colleagues, has lost his job. The reason is a major shake-up in ITV, the results of which reached your screens this week.
It is 6 o'clock on Monday, February the 16th, 2009. You're watching the Westcountry Tonight.
The backdrop might be familiar, but ITV's new programme for the South West comes from Bristol. Westcountry's news service has merged with ITV West's. The main programme has 15 minutes dedicated to the old Westcountry patch. It's a big change for ITV, a company which was founded on its strong regional roots.
I'd like you just to see the area for which we will be responsible.
ITV's first regional broadcast in the South West took place in Plymouth in 1961. Westwood's founder, Peter Cadbury, explains their mission.
Well, now, I want to make it quite clear that these transmitters, the studios and everything else, has been built for you, the people of the West Country.
It wasn't just news. Westwood made award-winning documentaries about local issues and local history.
As long as the mine remained prosperous, the machine would go on, gasping and sucking, puffing and blowing 24 hours a day. Dividends paid to shareholders 1846, £72,704. 1854.
Some of the output was a little more fluffy. Gus Honeybum was born in the Westwood era, but adopted by TSW, which took over the franchise in 1982. Gus was the presenter's right-hand, or should that be left-hand, man.
David is 5 years old today. For a day that's fun and very nice, because that's what you are too. Happy birthday. 5 bunny hops. Please, you see, he read my mind.
At the start of 1993, Westcountry Television took over from TSW.
Happy New Year and welcome to Westcountry, your new ITV station for the South West.
We look forward to bringing you a new kind of regional television service.
What was new was the so-called local ops, where the programme split so viewers got news from their area.
Throughout the region.
It had these very small local news bulletins from Penzance, Truro, Taunton, Barnstaple, Exeter, Torbay, which had never been seen before, and these were extremely popular with the viewers.
But that setup is no more. The South West's award-winning programme has become a casualty of ITV's financial problems. Unlike the BBC with its licence fee, ITV has to make a profit and pay for its programmes through advertising. But its income from ads is down because of growing competition from the internet and other TV channels.
The 4-year-old girl remains in a
The recession has made things worse. So the body which regulates broadcasters, Ofcom, has allowed ITV, headed by Michael Grade, to make big cuts in the regions.
First of all, it was children's programmes, religious programmes, the more featurey sorts of programmes, and now they've actually taken an axe to those parts of the schedule, the regional schedule, which were once regarded as its absolute foundation, news and current affairs.
How will these changes... What's more, ITV managers admit that as things stand, they can afford to make regional news only until the end of next year. So does ITV want to get out of regional broadcasting altogether?
Michael Grade's always been very clear that part of ITV's DNA is its regional services. The network and regional news sides are co-joined, as they are within the BBC. That the one absolutely helps to fuel the other.
But Ofcom says that even with these changes you've made, without you getting help from perhaps another broadcaster, these services are only sustainable till 2010.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a real mark of how the economic climate is changing. It's moving very, very, very rapidly.
So will there be regional news after 2010?
We're working very hard to create a sustainable model. What we've done already is we've made a radical change. We've completely redrawn the map, particularly in the southwest. We've created a news service that is more cost-effective but still effective on air, that's still delivering the right kind of product to viewers.
But Ofcom doesn't think that's enough.
No, Ofcom doesn't think it's enough. ITV doesn't think it's enough. We're aware that all around us the advertising model is changing, that even companies who were our key advertisers like Woolworths are themselves no longer in business.
And ironically, it's from a Woolworths store that Richard Lawrence is to file his last report.
Probably shared some of the same emotions, really.
Yes, yeah.
His interviewee has lost her job too. They compare notes.
You've got something to go on
to... I haven't yet. We're lucky that we've got some redundancy and then that we can do something, might be able to do something with.
This story was also covered by BBC Spotlight. So does the region need two public service broadcasters?
I think anyone would recognise that steel sharpens steel. BBC journalists off the record have told me that they value a competitor that keeps them on the edge, that there's that jostling for which story is going to take priority in the nightly news bulletins.
We'd all be the poorer, wouldn't we, if the only source of local news and information was the BBC.
Richard Lawrence in Dorchester for Westcountry News.
The BBC is quite different to ITV. I can tell you I've worked in both. Right, now that doesn't mean they're not both striving to get to the same essential truth about a story or a situation, but you will get different takes on it.
Yeah, take one. Jolly good.
And I think democratically it's really quite important that you have more than one source of that.
End of an era.
And if you haven't got that plurality of views in regional broadcasting to tell people what's going on, then democracy is diminished by cutting away at these news services.
You have a moment there?
For Richard, it's the final take. And ITV is running out of time to save what's left of its regional news.
We've had to make some really painful decisions. We've lost a lot of very, very, very good and talented staff. What we're facing now is the fact that beyond the end of 2010, that we'll need to find a different funding model, in order to take us forward. None of us can at this moment say exactly what that will be, exactly what that might mean in terms of the way we make news and how it's delivered.
I really am very sad in expecting that ITV will not be a regional broadcaster in a couple of years' time.